Hey, Sabine.
Hi, Squatchy. Batman didn't come home last night. I'm a little worried.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about him too much. He's probably out there just fighting crime and stuff. He likes to sometimes go off on them adventures to strip clubs. There's a lot of crime.
You went to a strip club?
Sabine, you sounded an awful lot like Mickey Mouse.
Well, you sound an awful lot like Meatwad.
So today on the Post House, Jeff has got to fix this. Came from a member of the community, kind of a client, reaching out asking if we could help. And Jeff, well, let's just see if he can even fix it. It's pretty bad.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff with the Post House. And sometimes we get interesting challenges that we have to deal with. And today is going to be a color grading session on one of those challenges. We were given a clip by somebody where, for some reason, user error, client error, doesn't matter. The clip is not quite what it should have been. It's a little too much in the one direction, maybe quite a bit too much in one direction. We were given it and given the challenge to see if there was a way to pull it back. So I was giving some info about it. 4K, 60, shown on GH5, 150 write speed, sitting like V, where all the settings, contrast, sharpness, noise reduction, saturation, hue, all set to 0. The room was lit with LED lights. This sofa back here is supposed to be gray silver. The tables that are in the room and the chairs themselves are supposed to be white. The wood on the chairs and on the table are all supposed to be gold. So, yeah, whatever happened, it happened. So, we'll try and fix it. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to put my scopes up. Going to do this, add a couple of nodes here. The first thing we're going to look at is just we're going to take it down because that red in the scopes was way too much blown out. So once you bring it down, you can see that there's actually no clipping in the reds. It's all actually pretty good. There's no clipping in any of them really. So let's bring the bottom up, and there's also no clipping in the blacks. So it actually looks pretty decent. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of work here. I'm going to try and bring this reds down, greens stay where they are. I'm going to bring these blues up. And what we're doing here, we're just trying to balance it out, see if there's anything we can do with this. I'm going to bring those reds down, blues up in the blacks, try and get our blacks kind of coordinated here. Then we're going to expand it out. It's going to take a little bit of time because you got to expand and you have to expand it, then you have to like regrade it a little bit, and then you have to expand again because every time that you're expanding it, the colors are actually changing slightly here. You could do it with just luminance, but doing it with just luminance is going to make your colors wash out a little bit more than this version. So we need to bring these reds back up here. Blues back there. We're getting somewhere close to a way better image. The color balance on this camera of me is definitely a lot better now. So we're going to take that one. Now the second node here, I'm going to pull these midtones down. Bring the whites back up just a little bit here. Blues are getting a little touchy, so we're going to pull those reds back into it a little bit. Go a little bit more towards blue in the darks. Go. I'm going to bring a little bit of the yellow and green out of the midtones now. Rebalance out that top end. So far we've gone from that to that, and that's way better looking. The couch is pretty gray, pretty silver. It's got definitely has a pink hue to it, but the background looks like it's got a pretty decent pink purple hue in it too. The lights in the back also look like they are different color tones. The lights behind the sofa itself are a little bit more tungsteny, it looks like, and the ones on the right and the left are a little bit more daylight. And we're just going to play this because there's another problem that we cannot get rid of in this clip. And it is the strobing of the lights in the background. And color correction can't do it. There are some deflickers that could probably work with it. We will have to check that, but what we were asked to do was to just correct. So that's what we are doing right here. So the chairs still look very yellow. Tables look pretty white. The ground looks like it's a whitish ivory color. The sofa in the back looks pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go over here, go to Hue Sat. We're going to take this yellow, we're going to go ahead and throw it all the way down. And that covers a little too much space. So we're going to clean up this mat here. And what I'm trying to do is just try and take that yellow that's there. We are going to get rid of it. Keeping the gold here because it bleeds in with that background back there, but we're going to do that with a slightly different adjustment right after this to clean it up just a little bit. So now what we're going to do, we're going to bring that yellow back up. We're going to take it down just a little bit. Clean this up just a little bit more. Next we're going to go from Hue Sat to Hue versus Hue. We're basically going to clean this exact same thing the exact same way. Get it right there, there we go. Now we're going to bring it back up. Now we start, it's basically we're just changing the hue factor of it. So we're going from the blues to the greens. Then we're going to go to the yellows. And then we're going to go into the pinks. If you keep going, you'll go to the reds and the purples, and then you'll come back to blue. It's a little too yellowish for me, so I'm just pumping just barely a slight twist here to it, and I'm going to make it a little bit more towards the red. Then I'm going to go back to hue versus saturation here and clean it up just a little bit more. So we went from this kind of goldish color to cleaning it up just a little bit more and getting the yellow out of there. So we have a little less of the yellows. And now finally, we will go to Luma versus Sat. And we're going to cut that decently hard here for the shadow areas, which is going to be these areas, these little areas down here. It's just running around some of these shadow spots that we have. And it's just taking a little bit of the saturation out of them to make it look a little bit more natural. And then for this individual spot, I went and generated a 3D LUT for the person to send to them for their footage. And then they put it over all their footage that they had that was in the exact same room. And this was just a starting point for the person to go from. But this took their footage from this nice red-orange that could be a stylistic choice of some sort, who knows? Didn't work. So took it from that to this, which should give the person a decent starting spot to come from. It's got a little bit of, you know, it's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect with the amount of blue that was taken out of that, with the whole red and orange here. There's very little blue color to work with in this, but you can pull a little bit back from this. It's still not going to be a lot. You're not getting stuff that wasn't in the image beforehand. You're just balancing out the color that was in it. Hopefully this is something everybody enjoyed. Something I definitely enjoyed having to try and figure out how to fix it. Yeah, if there's anything else y'all like coming up soon, it's going to be the HDR, HLG, a lot of that. Going to do the new settings in 14, doing some testing on some other ways to try and hopefully be able to do it. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. That's what I'm trying to figure out now. If it works, I will definitely send it all out there to everybody else so that you will know how I did it. Alright, see you later.